Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and dear colleagues, it's a pleasure for me to address the 77th session of ESCAP. We are meeting at a time of unprecedented challenges. The economic crisis because of the pandemic is, as we know, causing the worst recession in world history. Over 120 million people have fallen back to extreme poverty, and many more are facing increased food insecurity and worsening inequality. The outlook for developing countries are divergent and remains uncertain. The crisis came on top of persistent development challenges that existed pre-pandemic, including climate change, conflict, increasing debt levels, and falling investment and productivity. Against this backdrop, the World Bank has provided a record surge in our programs, with 65% increase in our commitments in 2020 and a total of 100 billion, the largest on record. This includes financing to support the private sector through short-term liquidity and trade, through IFC and MIGA, and COVID-19 related emergency health programs in 112 countries that we have delivered in close collaboration with UN agencies. In the immediate term, fair, broad, and fast vaccine deployment is our priority, as this is the key for economic recovery. At least 144 countries, including in the Asia and the Pacific, have completed vaccine readiness assessments, which we conducted in coordination with Gavi, the Global Fund, WHO, and UNICEF. The World Bank has allocated $12 billion for vaccine procurement and deployment, whilst at the same time strengthening health systems. To date, we have committed $2 billion for COVID vaccines across 17 countries, with a total expected to reach at least 4 billion and 50 countries by mid-year. Other than supporting our continued health and vaccine response, at the World Bank IMF spring meetings earlier this month, our shareholders also endorsed continuing our work to alleviate the debt burdens of developing countries, which is needed to provide the fiscal space for their response and recovery efforts. We welcome the G20 debt service suspension initiative, which has been extended for 6 months, and we are working with the IMF on the G20 Common Framework for Debt Resolution and providing net transfers to IDA and LDC countries of close to $17 billion, of which almost $6 billion were on grant terms. Shareholders also endorsed our path forward, moving forward to build back better and build back differently. We are adopting a green, resilient, and inclusive development framework, or GRID, which responds to the twin crises of COVID and climate, whilst ensuring we meet the SDGs. The GRID will require urgent investments at scale and policy reforms to transform key systems which contribute 90% of greenhouse gas emissions, such as energy, food systems and land use, urban infrastructure, transport and manufacturing. The scale of the needs, as well as the opportunities, requires exceptional support from the international community, and the World Bank Group is doing its part. To that end, the World Bank Group has received support for replenishment of IDA 20 that will help the world's poorest countries, and it has also updated its climate change action plan by putting forward ambitious new targets for climate financing, not just for mitigation, but also for adaptation and resilience. The plan is not just about climate action, but how to integrate climate in development. And we will be expanding our diagnostics and supporting countries with the development and design and implementation of their NDCs and long-term low-carbon development strategies. We are also aligning our financing flows with the goals of the Paris Agreement. For the World Bank, we plan to align all new operations by July 1, 2023, and for IFC and MIGA, it will be July 1, 2025. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity for the World Bank to share our thoughts, our updates, and our way forward. And we certainly look forward to continuing to work with all of you for a green, resilient, and inclusive future for all of us. Thank you.